Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. This episode of Welcome Home is brought to you by DVC Resale Market. Thank you for joining us on episode 264 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor and Damon. What's up, guys?
I mean, the next big episode is 300. I feel like it's a year from now.
All about your milestones. What about 275? That's a nice.
No, it's nothing. 275 is nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you'd celebrate a 75th anniversary, though. I mean, right?
Yeah, but not 275.
I'm personally excited for episode 282 because let's just throw out arbitrary numbers at this point.
Just be excited for random numbers.
I'm excited for when there's another YouTube live show. Whatever happened, like we just dropped the ball on that.
We can do a YouTube live show anytime. I'm fine. You know, I know people want it, so we can do it.
I think it's been a matter of us all finding the time to actually do it together because yeah, it's life is getting in the way of us being able to do this podcast. It feels like. I mean,
Damon, would you break out the puppet again, or what's
I don't know. Maybe a 4th of July. He could be dressed up in some Americana gear.
Yeah. Okay.
And a sparkler, maybe. I mean, it's possible.
Of a real sparkler.
Sure.
That just seems like he'd get caught. He'd catch on fire.
That'll be a big sparkler too. I mean.
Yeah,
have to last for like an hour.
Well, there's that too.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, we can do a live show anytime you guys want. I'm all for a live show. So we just need to find a time to do it. And but I've always had fun when we do the live shows. So so yeah, we'll try to do something live on YouTube soon. Here, we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But all right. So a couple things. First of all, we decided we're going to do things a little bit differently, just a little bit, right? Because we wanted to start recognizing the people that review the show in the beginning of the show as opposed to waiting to the end of the show, right? So I wanted to read one review. We'll read another one next week. And then, if you want to have your review read on the show, just go ahead and go on Apple Podcasts or you can also go on Spotify and give us a star rating. But that's not as fun as going on Apple Podcasts and writing something, right? So
let's hear it.
Yeah, let's see what we got here. PK Mule, I don't know, something like that. Sorry if I said that wrong, PK. But 5 stars. Starts my week off with a smile. Love the show. Need more food reviews and tips. Ooh, look at that. Someone wants more food.
All right. Tom Burner account, obviously.
No, it's not. Tom Burner account. Would be fabulous if you could muster up a live broadcast from the Contemporary Resort at the DVC annual meeting this December. I'd actually love to do that.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if her December in
I think that, I mean, if you're early December,
I guess that's true. I guess I can't imagine myself being there in December at like the busiest time. But yeah, I guess it depends on when the actual meeting is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and I do have another review, but we'll save it for next week. So
okay.
I did want to. We do try to be accurate on this show.
I'm glad I'm not involved in any of this.
All right, listen.
Whatever. I mean, yeah,
it's fine.
We make mistakes, and
we make mistakes. Yeah,
Tom and Trevor make mistakes from time to
time. Listen. Okay, so first of all, we talked about the Poly Tower a couple weeks ago, and we said that there was not going to have studios. What's interesting about this is, we had taken this off the Disney Parks blog, right? Which I typically take as a source of truth because it's directly from Disney, right? But in this case, for some reason, the Parks blog omitted studios being an available room type at the Poly Tower. And if you go and look at at the official press release that they did, they mentioned there will be regular studios. But the Disney Parks blog for some reason did not mention that. So thanks to the couple people that reached out to us about this one, because we do want to mention that we don't want anyone to think that it's not going to have studios. It will, besides the Duo studio. So now, Trevor, this means that maybe you could actually stay there. Maybe it'll work for you.
Nah, I'd still rather stay at Moria.
I
mean, it's good that regular studios are an option in the tower, but I mean, I guess maybe I can see why they might have omitted it, because there are so many other studios at the Poly already. It's like, that's not really the selling point, especially for existing members.
But it kind of made sense at the time, right? Like when we said it. Yeah.
But that's cool that they have studios. My wife and I, we talked about it, and the thing is that the tower is really far away from getting to the TTC and stuff. Yeah. So I'm personally not incentivized to go stay over there because I don't want to walk that far.
That's a fair argument. It is completely on the opposite side of the resort from the TTC. And I mean, but when are you guys actually using the TTC? Just to go to Epcot?
All the time.
Really?
Yes. When we go to Magic Kingdom, when we go to Epcot, we're always in and out of the TTC. And even if we have like a day at Hollywood Studios, if we come back early, we will pop over to Magic Kingdom in the evening, which means we're always going through the TTC. And because Morea is right there, it's very convenient.
Okay,
I feel like I shouldn't be saying this.
Well, you don't pick up the monorail though from like the lobby at Polynesian. No. You go to TTC instead. It's closer.
Yep. Yeah, we usually get on the boat and go across.
Interesting.
I find that's quicker.
Interesting. Okay, so you don't do like the individual boats. You do like the big ferry.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess that makes sense. I mean, if that's closer to your room, then yeah, sure, that makes sense.
Yeah. So like I said, I mean, it's great that the tower has everything, but it's still not. It's not a prime selling point to me at this point.
Do you think you'll ever stay anywhere else, or is it just Poly for life?
I mean, we're going to be going to Disneyland next year, so there's that.
I mean, at Disney World.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I mean, I bring it up from time to time, but my wife is very set on the idea of let's stay at the Poly, and I'm not going to argue with it because I do like it as well.
My friends that are going on that cruise that I was supposed to go on that I'm not are staying in the bungalows because they just have so many like still leftover COVID points.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
Yeah. That's so I'm kind of curious to see what they have to say about them. Three people, by the way.
That's kind of what I did at the one night I stayed at the cabin over at Wilderness Lodge because I just had some points that were going to expire. So I was like, all right, let's blow them on something stupid like the cabin. And we only had 4 people in it. I think it can sleep like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
But I did kind of the same thing. I was just thinking to myself, Trevor, that our next live show on YouTube should just be you going to a tattoo parlor and getting Poly for life tattooed on your arm,
Sure, but it would have to be a temporary tattoo because I'm not doing real tattoos.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But I was just imagining that in my head.
I would need a lot of money to be convinced to get a tattoo. Let's just say that.
Yeah, me too. My wife is into tattoos, but that's not my thing. So, yeah. But I was just joking, just imagining in my head, because Poly and the number 4 and then life.
Yeah.
All right. And then the other thing that we wanted to clean up too, that a couple people pointed out to us, when we were talking about the drone show, I guess last episode, I think, I don't know, Trevor, if it was you or I, but one of us said that that there weren't CMs at Disney Springs, as cast members at Disney Springs to direct traffic, but there actually were cast members at Disney Springs to direct traffic. So, I thinking about it, I feel like I've seen some there before. It's definitely not as much as like, Magic Kingdom, even just like during like a regular parade where they have people directing people around. But yeah, so just a call out, there are people directing crowds at Disney Springs.
Which, fair. I feel that they probably don't have enough cast members for the amount of people that showed up though, because we saw that like there was that video.
I sent you that video,
yeah,
where it looked like a nightmare.
and I get that, and I know like it's the same thing after fireworks and whatnot, but even with the fireworks, it still feels like there's enough cast members there to manage the crowd. The problem I see with Disney Springs is that it's a bigger space and there is no ticketing. So
yeah,
the amount of people you can get in there is way higher than you would at Magic Kingdom. So even if there are cast members managing it, I don't think that Disney is, I personally don't think that Disney is as prepared as they could be to manage something like a drone show at Disney Springs when that kind of like hype happens, right? So
I think they were probably taken a little off guard by the amount of people that showed up for that. But I mean, you saw that, like you said, it's a bigger space, and you saw the video. It was packed. I mean, like you couldn't walk.
The guy with his shoulder over his, or with his,
holding the stroller,
the stroller over his head, over his shoulder. Yeah, like trying to like wade through the crowd. I'm just like that's insane. Like
at least the kid wasn't in it at the time.
Yeah, yeah, that would have been next level.
That would have been bad. But I mean, to me, a stroller is an advantage in that situation, right? You got, the I don't want to say the stroller is it's not a weapon, battering but ram. It's a battering ram. Yeah, people you can part the seas with the stroller,
Yeah, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel it's still harder to, like, people will still stop you, and I would still rather not have a stroller in a large crowd. Yeah, it's better maneuverability.
That's fair. That's fair. So they do have cast members directing people at Disney Springs, but it is not as much. So. Mm-hmm. So we just wanted to clean up those two things from last week, because like I said, we do try to be accurate with stuff, and if we're wrong, we're fine with coming back and telling you that we're wrong. So
yeah, because we don't know everything all the time, and we don't work for Disney. So.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about, and this is, by the way, this piece of news is from a couple weeks ago. This is actually while I was at Disney, so we're just getting around to talking about it now. But Disney has requested to extend the permit they had for Reflections. Now, for those of you that might not know, I guess, Reflections is not a new day spa at Disney. It's a proposed DVC location at the old site,
the burial ground of
River Country.
I mean, I'm glad that it seems like it's still going to happen, because I mean, I want to see all the ghosts in bathing suits personally.
So what they're doing is they're seeking an additional 5 years to complete the construction. This was kind of a COVID casualty, right? I mean, they had
not a casualty though, because it seems like it's going to happen.
That's what it seems like to me. If they're, asking for an extension, I mean,
why would you if you're not going to do it?
That's what I'm thinking. Unless they're just like want to keep their options open. I don't know.
If Reflections goes on sale, toss up. Like, now do I need Reflections points? I kind of feel like I do.
Yeah.
Just to see the ghosts more than anything.
And for those that don't know, too,
are these people that like died on the water slides? Like, I'm trying to
no. They're just ghosts that maybe have been hanging around, waiting for River Country to come back. Maybe I don't know.
Was this the origin of Haunted River Country? Was the Reflections?
I mean, probably.
Or was it before that? I forget.
I don't know.
Okay,
I feel we started talking about it around the time that Reflections got announced. So yeah.
Because maybe we were speculating on what they were doing before they announced Reflections.
I'm gonna have to go find out now.
That's what it was. Is that we didn't know what this was yet, and we were guessing at what kind of resort it would be. And Damon said he wanted it to be Haunted River Country.
That's right. Yeah,
and that started all that. Yeah.
You're right, Trevor. Because I remember they were doing like. They were like drilling holes in the ground at one point, trying to, test the soil and everything, and to see if it could support, like buildings. And so the speculation was that they were going to build a hotel. And then I think that's where the whole Haunted River Country thing started. I could be wrong.
So I have to step away for a second, but I will say I do like the bucket hat on the next thing.
Okay.
All right.
The bucket hat on the next thing. Okay. But yeah, no, listen, I think this is interesting that they are extending this permit, or asking to extend this permit, and all the way till 2029. I mean, I don't know if that tells me that, it's an additional 5 years to complete construction, right? So that doesn't necessarily mean to start construction, right? So like, you would think if that's the case, if they are actually going to do this, that construction would start sometime in the next 2-3 years, right? Because it's going to take them at least a year or two to build this. I mean, it's a pretty large resort from all the art that we've seen, right?
Yeah, and I mean the thing is the I don't know if you saw this bit about the cover letter for the request. It says, we would like to request an extension of this permit as construction is not yet complete. You think? Like,
it's an empty lot.
This project was shut down due during COVID-19 conditions and therefore delayed the completion of this project. So, so that is sounding more and more like you said. Yeah, there's probably going to be construction there in the next year or two, with the intent of finishing. It doesn't mean that they want to be finished by 2029. I'm expecting that they plan to have this open before 2029. So
I'm guessing as soon as they're done with the Poly Tower, this is the next thing, right? Like
that would make sense.
Yeah, like as soon as they're done with that, then they go to this.
Yeah, because Disney they haven't talked about what their next, or DVC specifically hasn't talked about what their next plan is, right?
Yeah.
Because the Poly Tower has been a big showpiece, and they're still, getting people to buy Riviera and all that. And yeah, I can't think of anything else that they have.
Well, the cabins.
Yeah, but even the cabins feel like, I don't know.
I've seen that they're not selling particularly well, but that doesn't necessarily surprise me, I guess, because it is kind of a niche kind of.
Yeah, and the cabins are also, because they are cabins, it's not the same as a new property, because it's a different type of accommodation altogether. So yeah, I mean, really, I feel like DVC wants to advertise like, hey, there's a new hotel, not cabins, not whatever. They want to show off like a new hotel, and this would be a new hotel, right?
Yeah, and I remember looking at the concept art for like the lobby and the rooms and everything. I mean, this resort looks incredible. I know I was making fun of the name because it sounds like a day spa, because it does. But I remember we got a lot of pictures from like the inside and from the rooms, and it looked like it was going to be a really, really nice resort. So I'm happy if they build this resort, because I want to stay there. I've said before, I like staying at Wilderness Lodge a lot. This is kind of feels like a even like more upscale Wilderness Lodge in the same kind of area. And you get that nice convenience to Magic Kingdom of riding a boat over. I mean, it's not a monorail resort, but I kind of like that in a way, because you're a little bit off to the side. It's a little more, I don't want to say it's quieter, but it kind of is.
I know what you're saying is it's not using like the main connectors and whatnot, so it's not going to have the same level of traffic as like the Contemporary.
Yeah, it's like far enough away, but still close. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I mean, I hope they do this still, and I wouldn't be surprised if we, like I said, as soon as they're done with the Poly Tower, that this is the next thing that they do. And maybe we hear more about that sometime soon here. I am going to be interested to see, though. First of all, this is, for those that don't know, this is the second time around that they've announced a resort on this location and have not built it. So they actually, back in like 2011, they had a design for a resort that they had actually announced and then kind of squashed it. But that wasn't due to COVID. They just didn't do it. And then Reflections. Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe Damon's right about there being a burial ground.
It's like Poltergeist. Is it Poltergeist? Is that what it is?
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible. But so this was, Reflections was originally supposed to open in 2022. We all know what happened between 2020 and 2022. And then there's been a bunch of other projects that have started up. Now, given most of the other projects all of the other projects, I guess, were not new resorts, right? They were either refurbishments of resorts or adding on to existing resorts, right? Like the Polynesian Tower, the villas at Disneyland Hotel, Grand Floridian, like those were kind of, I mean, listen, the villas at Disneyland and the Tower are technically, new buildings, but they already exist as part of the resort, right? So this is a wholesale new resort, which I think takes a little bit more time to do, which is kind of makes it makes sense why these other projects would have jumped ahead of.
You guys are still talking about Reflections?
Yeah.
Did you run, Damon?
I tried. I wanted to get back. I didn't want to miss the next one, but I mean, I should have known better with you guys, and could have come back in an hour, and you still would have been talking about Reflections.
I'm just wondering, Damon, if the design's going to be the same, or if they start building this 2 years from now, if they're going to update the designs, especially since a lot of people didn't love the outside of the resort when they saw the concept art, which I like it. I think it looks good.
What if it was Haunted River Country? Like, what if it actually was?
Would have actually happened? I think that we have a lawsuit.
I don't think we do. That's what I was just thinking. I don't think we do, but that would be interesting.
No, we didn't trademark anything, so
I think that they're going to go neutral for a resort like that anyway. I mean, I don't hate it.
But I mean, I think a lot of people were saying it looked like a dorm, which I don't agree with. I think it looks a lot nicer than that. But yeah, I'm assuming that it will stay generally the same. So, all right. Well, Damon wanted to talk about this next thing.
Well, hold on. You said it looked like a dorm room?
That's what people were saying on the internet when they initially put out the concept art. I remember that being the criticism. I'm like, I don't really think so. Or like a nice apartment building, but I think it looks really nice.
Here's the thing: is like, can you do classy IP? I don't know if you can.
They try.
You can. It's just a matter of putting
where
some more
is classy? Where's classy IP?
I mean,
don't say Animal Kingdom because it's not really.
No, I wasn't going to say Animal Kingdom. Okay. I was actually going to say Saratoga.
No, what IP is that? That old movie from back in the day? Like,
no, but I mean, like a lot of the decorations in the room are like kind of, like there's like a silhouette picture of Mickey and like, the writing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's not kind of what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like a whole like.
You're talking like a 5-star resort kind of thing.
Well, no. I mean, what I guess what I'm getting at is that could you take an IP and make a classy hotel that exists maybe within that IP? Like, could you make like a DuckTales super classy high end?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
That's my new thing. Like, that's what I want. Like, if you're going to DVC me and something classy, I want it to be Duckburg, like a classy Duckburg. Like, I'd be down with that.
Yeah.
But like, would people want that? Like, that's what I'm saying. Do people want classy IP, or when they go kind of like fancy classy? Like, these are kind of what I would say, like a faux, high end hotel. Like, I mean, they're nice. Like, don't get me wrong, but they're not as nice, let's say, as some of the top end hotels in the world, right?
Sure.
I think they try to kind of make it seem, look like that, which they do a great job at. But then again, my take on that is could you do something IP based that's that high level? Would people want to go?
So you're saying the building itself, not necessarily having IP infused into it, because this one does. If I remember correctly,
I'm saying more like the hotel would exist within that IP world.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because if I remember correctly from the old concept art, I think there was some Pocahontas going in here and like Bambi stuff. And actually, in this One Piece concept art, you can see.
I mean, unless you're sleeping out in the forest, though, it's not.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, but yeah, no, I get what you're saying, David. It's an interesting thought. I mean, I could see one in like the style of like The Incredibles, even though they did that to the Contemporary, like that old, that kind of style that they have in that movie,
That's what I'm saying. I want it to exist in the world itself, not just,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of neat.
Just trying to think of how many hotels.
But then again, Star Wars didn't do so well, so who knows?
Well, that wasn't because
things, but still might make them shy about it.
I mean, realistically, there was no outer theming on the Star Wars hotel anyway. It was a box. So
yeah, it was the Star Wars galactic warehouse, really.
Yeah, exactly.
So we get into my bucket hat now?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even see a bucket hat.
It's in the link to the merchandise.
All right, so Damon, are you on this? This is the cruise that you're on? Is this?
No, I think this is isn't this the members cruise?
Yeah, so it says the DVC first wave sailing to Lookout Key. I thought you were on that one. I don't know why.
I don't know. I think I'm going like the 19th or something.
Okay. This is the 14th.
Yeah, I think I'm the one right after this.
Okay, got it. So this is the DVC cruise on the Disney Magic. They're going to stop at the new island. And then, so what are you talking about with the merchandise here?
There's a link, man.
DVC previously showcased some of the merchandise.
Wow. That is a loud hat, Damon. You like that one?
That's what I'm saying. I like that, though. I definitely rock with that.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I kind of like want to see you with this hat on now. Like this is. I
mean, I'm hopeful that there might be leftovers when we go.
So is this merch exclusive to that cruise? Is that?
I don't know. This
is a gift package. So the member cruise, they're getting this
But does that mean, that it's not
they're not
coming
selling
anywhere
it.
else, or they just give it to them? I don't know.
Yeah, it says it'll be given to cruisers, including a custom corkscrew bottle with the membership magic logo. Yeah.
Interesting.
So it looks like they're actually giving them out on the cruise. It's not a buy it kind of thing, which is unfortunate. Like,
but it might be for sale though at some point.
Yeah.
I mean,
who knows? But I would rock with that.
That's
I can't believe the cruise is so soon.
I like that you don't even know what the date is. It's like,
no, like why would I? My wife will tell me when it's time to go, and that's that. And I get up and I'll go. And
so your wife on like Thursday will be like, Damon, we're going on a cruise tomorrow, and you're like, all right, let's go.
Exactly. Like it doesn't matter to me. The thing that's interesting about this trip is because of my son's injury, they're flying because he had some. They had vouchers left over from a recruiting visit that he didn't take because he committed the day before he was supposed to go on a recruiting visit, which I guess is kind of normal. So it wasn't a big deal, but we had vouchers for the flight. So there was 2 vouchers. So they're using them to fly down. And then me, my oldest and my youngest are all driving down with all the luggage. So they have the best of everything. They just literally hop on a plane, hop off. They don't even have to bring luggage with them or check a bag or anything.
Wow.
And then we're just showing up and then meeting them down there.
So wait, are they driving back with you, or are they?
No, they're flying back.
Oh wow! So they're doing round trip. Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like the worst part is going to be like when they get on a plane and are back like 6 hours before us. That will be annoying. Going down won't be so bad, I feel like.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I've been, Spotify has so many books now, like, audio books. Like, I don't even care anymore. Like, sign me up. Like, I'm listening to a D&D book that's actually pretty good. So, I mean, I was like, it's like 11 hours, and I think I'm on like 4 hours in, so I'm fine. My kids will probably fall asleep. They've already said they want to leave super early. So nice. We'll probably leave like at 4 a.m. They'll sleep until, 11, and I'll just listen to a book on, Spotify or something like that.
We're very much like as soon as we wake up and get ourselves together, then we leave, right? Like we don't usually have a set time. It's just like whenever we get up.
Yeah, we just don't want to leave them down there off of their flight for, a ton of time because, like, we want to kind of see them and, things like that. So I don't know how that's all going to work out. But yeah, no, I have no idea when we're going. Yeah, at one point I did because I took the time off of work. But outside of that, like, I just put it in and then I didn't think about it anymore. So someone will just tell me. And I'm not bringing a lot. It's a cruise. It's 4 days, 3 nights. Like, what do I need? I need a swimsuit, a swim shirt, and I don't know. 4 pairs of underwear. I mean, I'm good. Like, that's it.
That's pretty, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I'm assuming you're going the day before the cruise and staying overnight somewhere. Okay.
Yeah. We're doing that. I mean, I think that's the safest bet all around for everybody to do that. That's what we've done the last one. But as a family now, we've also decided that we're going to cruise every year. That is going to be something that we do going forward. So whether we book another one while we're on there, like, we kind of might. Don't know.
Are you're gonna keep doing the Disney cruises, or are you?
So, now that we're not doing that other one, which again is a shame that my friends are doing. I think Jeremy's on that one too, and a few other people. We're going to miss out on that. We're waiting for them to come back and tell us what they think before we book something like that. And listen, the Disney one's easy. You book it, you don't want to do it. You just cancel. Like, it's not hard.
Yeah.
Right? Like, your money comes back. It's not a big deal. So I think that if we book something, we'll just book it. And then if we decide we want to switch over to a Royal Caribbean or something like that, we will. So I don't know, man. Like, the Disney cruises, like, what did my kids say? They said something to me recently, like, my middle one, he's just a trip. So what, how do you feel if the cruise, if the boat sinks? I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like I can swim. He goes, and he's like, well, what about your wife and daughter? And I was like, I mean, I think that my daughter's, again, she's been on the swim team for a few years. I think she's good too. Now, my wife, on the other hand, there might be some problems. But, here's the thing. Like, I mean, I'm comfortable with that. Something about these super duper large Royal Caribbean or whatever ships makes me more nervous about them than these, like, it's not, necessarily small ships, but smaller ships. I don't know. Like, I look at that without upcoming, like, what, Anthem of the Seas or one of those super huge ones. And I I don't know, something weird about it. Like it's just too big. It feels like it shouldn't work. So I don't know. I'll have to see how I feel about that. That was just a weird tangent, but I don't know. It's what I think about sometimes. Like, oh, that ship looks almost too big.
Yeah,
So,
no, well, I get that. That makes sense. That's so fun that your kids thought would go there though. Like, what if it's like? Because I mean, you've never seen a cruise ship. I mean, I guess there's that one that sank years ago.
It's not even that. Like, like if you have movies in your head, like Jaws was always a movie that just beat me down. What was that crazy movie? Poseidon, right? Is that what it was called?
Yeah,
Poseidon Adventure.
Oh, dude, I don't know if there's anything worse than watching them like with the water rising and they're just stuck in these small little areas of the boat. I don't know, man. That might have been one of those shows. You'd catch it on Sunday all the time, right? When there's no DVRs. Kids don't understand these things. There's no DVRs. It was on. You just watched it because it was that or, 10 channels of like, I don't even know what. But so you watched it and that movie messed me up. Like, talking about movies that messed me up, that movie messed me up.
No, it's funny. That's actually one of my wife's favorite movies.
No, that movie, this is not a bad movie. It just messed me up. So like now I think these huge cruise ships and I'm like, all right, I just got to get off the boat. Like if I can get off the boat, like I feel like I could swim 50 miles if I had to. Like, not had to. Yeah, like not fast.
Survive.
Survival, like 50 miles. My son probably more than that, and the rest of them, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I just wouldn't want to be trapped in the boat. And I feel like those boats are so tall. Like I don't know.
I always conjure up like the Titanic, and like these newer boats are like double the size of the Titanic was, right? Yeah. So,
and then he said something about sharks, and I'm like, I just got to swim faster than other people for sharks. Like I'm good with that. Like that's not a problem. Like it's just there's going to be some people that. And
I like how you pretend that there's like no lifeboats or emergency evacuation plan or anything.
Well, like who knows? Maybe it's a tsunami where like it just whoops. Right, Godzilla rising from the ocean. Like Godzilla doesn't give you time to get out the lifeboats. Like he jumps up out of the ocean with his nuclear powered stuff, and the boat's flipped over, and that's it.
Godzilla should give some warning before coming out.
You said you wanted an immersive resort, Damon. There you go.
But what you meant, Tom needs the soundboard.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can do it if you. Hold on. There you go. I it's funny because talking about cruises, my wife and I, because we're going on a cruise, we're doing the Royal Caribbean one in August, and I just saw the hurricane forecast for this year. They're expecting like a ton of hurricanes. Yeah. Well,
this is what I would tell you. So we were stuck on a Disney cruise during a tropical storm, right? So the level down from a hurricane.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was a little bit like what's the story? Like, in Goonies, do they tell the story of all the kids throwing up?
No, that's Stand By Me.
Yes. Okay, there you go. Yeah, Stand By Me. Okay. So it was a little bit like that. So I did not throw up, but like I was getting there. My son did. And as we're running, like he's running into the bathroom, it's like, dude, people are throwing up in everything that you could possibly throw up in, including sinks, right?
Jeez.
But then it's over and it was fine. So I mean, it wasn't the worst.
I call that fine, but okay.
I mean, and that was pretty, obviously that was pretty choppy. So I think unless they'll detour you anyway.
Yeah, they go around it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so even at the outskirts of it, I mean, it got bad it was just dinner, to be honest with you. That was it. It wasn't like it was the whole day or it was like after dinner. It was like, man, maybe it was like an hour and a half where it was like, ooh.
Rough.
Yeah, and then after that, it was good. So I think you'll be fine. I would agree, though. I don't necessarily like traveling around that time in a boat either. Just because I'd rather, again, we're going to do June.
It's probably why my cruise was so cheap.
Could be.
We're more worried about it getting canceled than anything. There just happened to be a hurricane during that time. Because
I mean, but get your money back. So what do you care?
Well, we really want to go on the cruise. I mean, we're really looking forward to it. So it'd be sad if we didn't get it.
And you going by yourselves?
Yeah, it's just my wife.
Why not Disney?
Why are we not doing Disney?
Yeah.
We didn't want to spend that much money. And
I feel like your daughter's at such the perfect Disney.
Well, we're doing Disney next year, though. We're doing Disney May next year. So
Disney Cruise.
Yeah. We're doing Disney Cruise in May next year. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, no, we are doing a Disney cruise. This is we didn't want
This
to
is your
do
test cruise? Like, have you guys not cruised before?
I have been on one cruise, but it's been 20 some years.
Okay, and your wife and obviously your daughter has not, but your wife has or has not?
My wife has. But the last cruise she went on was like when she was in college, and it was like a Mediterranean cruise, and so like it's been a while.
Same. Well, it is a good test, because if you don't love cruising, like for whatever reason, let's say your daughter just doesn't vibe with the whole thing in her stomach, or at least you're not spent all this Disney money at the very
well, that's and that's like, we didn't want to spend the as much I want to do a Disney cruise, I didn't want to spend the money for a Disney cruise right now. It just because we had already done a Disney vacation this year,
and it's good for a test cruise to not do a Disney cruise if that's the way you want to go. It's smart, I think. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not too worried about it, because I mean, I've been on boats a lot in my childhood, and I don't get like seasick or anything like that. That's never been an issue for me.
Things change, man.
Well, that's true as you get older. My brother-in-law actually was just talking about this to me, because they had gone to Universal a couple months back, and he went on Velocicoaster, and it like literally messed him up for 3 days. He said, like, he was he was messed up for 3 days.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a little worried about Velocicoaster.
Yeah.
I really, truly am a little worried about Velocicoaster for myself. I mean, I've done all the rides once, so I'll do it. And then if I hate it, like I just won't do it again. Like Wild Eagle, like I'm tapped out on at Dollywood. Like I've done it probably 5 times, but now I'm just like, nope, I'm done. But Velocicoaster, I feel like I have to, because people keep telling me it is their favorite coaster of all time. Feel like I got to do it, man.
My sister said it was the craziest roller coaster she's ever been on. She didn't say it was her favorite. She's like, she wasn't sure about how she felt about it. She said it was crazy and it was fun, but she was also terrified. So,
yeah,
I don't know, but yeah,
I don't know. I might have to take like a Dramamine and then just rock it. Like I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, that's my brother-in-law has been getting progressively worse with motion sickness as he's gotten older.
Yeah, me too.
And I think that happens with a lot of people, right?
Yep.
And so, but I don't think he expected this to like mess him up for several days. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes it's your sinuses that's usually the problem. So I tend to do like a decongestant. Before I do parks now.
Interesting.
Which seems to help me.
Yeah,
but,
it keeps your inner ear stabilized, so you're not getting pressure differentials.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yay, science.
That actually okay, let's do our ad, and then I want to mention something else about my brother-in-law, because I was just texting with him and it's Disney related. So let's go ahead and do our ad, and then we'll talk about some other stuff.
All right. This week, our sponsor is DVC Resale Market, which is a World of DVC company that is the leader in the DVC resale industry, with 13 former Disney Vacation Club guides and 3 former Disney Vacation Club quality assurance managers. If you're thinking of buying DVC, browse the largest selection of DVC resale listings anywhere, with DVC experts on hand 7 days a week to answer your questions. If you're thinking of selling, turn to the friendly professionals at DVC Resale Market, where over 98% of listings sell within 30 days. In 2023, DVC Resale Market helped over 4,400 families join or add on to their memberships. Go to dvcresalemarket.com/welcome home or call 1-844-DVC-PROS. That's 382-7767. And when you speak to them, be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you.
All right. So what I was going to mention, my sister was just texting me. She's not with my brother-in-law, but he's down in Florida with his parents. And apparently his parents decided not to buy tickets ahead of time to go to the parks.
What?
And they're buying them at the gate. And I'm like, I would never.
That's weird.
Like, who buys tickets at the gate?
I mean, I know that's my parents would do that.
Yeah, but I mean, if they had, I mean, I guess for like a 1-day trip, but like if they were there for a week, they wouldn't do that.
No, they would do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it just the older generation? Is that what it is?
Like, I mean, I think because that's like when we went back in like the 80s and 90s to Disneyland, that's what they did. Yeah. We showed up, and I mean, it was, you worried about it being like Wally World and National Lampoon, sorry, parks closed, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, it's, I think there's some people that are just okay with that. I can't imagine not having my tickets before I got there. Cause also do you really want to stop at the kiosk and do
That's
all
what I'm
that when
saying,
like the park is like right there? Like,
especially they're at Magic Kingdom too, right? Like
Yeah.
I feel like when I walk into like Epcot or like Hollywood Studios, there's nobody at the ticket booths. But Magic Kingdom always seems to have like a good line at the ticket booths, I feel like.
where even is the ticket booth?
It's at the TTC, Ticket and Transportation Center.
Oh yeah. Oh right. Yeah, that's right. I walk right past them.
You forgot what the first T stood for.
Yeah. Well, because I don't even think about, like, I walk through security. I completely ignore the ticket things, and I'm on my way to Magic Kingdom. That
just blew my mind when he texted me that. I'm like, seriously? Like you're just showing up to Magic Kingdom and buying tickets? Like I asked why, and he said, quote, and I quote, his parents don't trust the app. And I was like, but what does that even mean? Like, what can happen? Like, I don't know.
I mean, again, not understanding that it's all an interconnected system, and the person at the booth is just adding you to the system the same way that the app does. So whatever.
They're older people, and they also were grousing during COVID when everything was mobile order. They couldn't figure out mobile order on the app, so the same kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
I get it. I mean, I did it for my parents when we went with them, and they even my parents fully admitted that if I wasn't with them, they would have been lost.
Yeah.
So I get that. But.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so with the Tiana's Bayou Adventure finally about to open, we're getting there, right? We've got a whole bunch of new looks, and actually, I didn't even send you guys I didn't even put on the rundown. They just released a full on-ride video, which I have not watched yet.
I saw that, and I'm not going to watch it.
You're not going to watch it. I know you won't watch it because you don't like spoilers. So, I did watch some of the short clips though, and from what I saw, it looks pretty great. I thought it was pretty cool that they had the Imagineer who wrote the song. I think it was he was an Imagineer, but. Oh no, that's right. It's not an Imagineer, but the Imagineers worked with this guy to write this song, and he got to be, I guess one of the first people that wrote it, which was cool. And also they have, the original voices too from the movie, which is also very cool. So, but I also really like the sign. I have to say that sign is very cool.
I want to see it properly lit up. I know it's been lit up, but I want to see what it actually like really looks like at night. Because somebody sent a picture of it.
Video of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I saw a picture. It was like, oh, it's lit up. But it was like, nah, that was like dusk. Like that's not.
You need it dark.
Yeah, it needs to be dark. Yeah.
It's like when
I want to see that whole area lit up. Like I think that'll just be amazing.
Yeah, I agree. They definitely upgraded the light package quite a bit for the redo. And I mean, listen, I know you haven't looked at it, but the videos I've seen in the inside are, we've seen what the animatronics look like already, right? Yeah. So those are in there, and I mean, it seems like all of the animatronics are a pretty big upgrade. Listen, because the animatronics we all know on Splash Mountain were super old, and they were so old that they were like repurposed ones. Yeah, they were like really, really old. So this is quite an upgrade. My wife was watching a lot of this and got very excited about going on this again because she loved Splash Mountain, but she wasn't like she loved Splash Mountain for the ride. She didn't care that much about whatever the theme was. So
the story was secondary
exactly
to the ride.
Yeah. She just always loved it as a ride. So she's excited to go check that out, and also simultaneously very disappointed that we were not there when this was going on. So
yeah, I've been trying to convince my wife. She says she's on board to ride it. My wife doesn't do rides like Splash Mountain much anymore because, like, as we talked earlier about like motion sickness and stuff, my wife unfortunately has pretty strong motion sickness, but when we go to Disneyland, it's going to be just the two of us, and I'm fine with doing single rider to get on Tiana's Bayou Adventure. But I said to my wife, I'm like, it would be nice if we could go and do it. And she's like, well, I'll see it, but also I don't want to force her either. Like, she needs to be willing to do it as well. But yeah, we're going to try and do it together. Whether or not that actually happens, though, is still up in the air. Also, I don't know if you know this, but the ride configuration in Disneyland is different in that the logs, everyone sits single file.
Oh yeah. That's
instead
a whole
of
different thing. Yeah.
Instead of side by side. So yeah, that I know it doesn't change the ride a lot, but it'll still be weird going back to that. I haven't done that in years. So,
I read something the other day about why that is. I think it has something to do with the Asian parks. That when they built it at the Asian parks, they had to build it side by side for some reason, and then I forget though. There was something about that, how it ended up being different at Disneyland and Disney World. So,
interesting.
I guess it would have had to been Hong Kong, right? Because that's considering how old this ride is, but yeah, I mean, listen, I know you probably haven't watched any videos. I did see a video, Trevor, of it very dark at night. Now that the walls are down, because the walls are down now, they're doing the, cast member uniforms they're showing off, and they're doing all the music stuff, all the stuff that Disney does whenever they open a new ride. They always give you bits and pieces,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did see the cast member pictures and whatnot. So yeah, I'm same thing. I'm seeing bits and pieces of it, but I'm deliberately avoiding, like, I know everyone's hyped about the last scene footage and stuff, and I don't care. Because I want to see it live.
You don't want to spoil it. I totally get that. I mean, I wish I could avoid spoilers or try hard enough to avoid spoilers. I just find it hard to do. So I just don't.
The first thing is don't click the link, and then you don't get the spoiler.
I mean, but it's so tempting to click the link.
I know. But there's other links you can click on. You don't have to click on that link.
All right, I have to click on those. I'm really disappointed that the whole number thing didn't turn out to be a thing. That's really disappointing.
Yeah, that would have been fun if maybe something will come up later. Maybe it will be a callback to something that is, again, probably totally unrelated to anything. But
it's still good.
You never know.
Yeah, it's just disappointing. So, yeah. So, I don't remember when do the DVC when do the previews start? Is that this week? I forgot the date.
I did as well. I know they said it was like early June, right? So probably in the next. I would say. I mean, it's got to be the next week to 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably cast previews happening right now, right? So. I also saw too, Trevor. I don't know if you saw this, but I did see some videos of, and this is not related to Tiana at all. But this is the new Communicore building over at Epcot at night. Have you seen that at night yet with all the lit up panels on the side?
No, I have not seen that yet.
Oh yeah, you need to look at that. And also, they were doing cast member previews of the inside of that building, where the meet and greets are, and they did a really nice job on the inside. It looks very cool. But yeah, I really want to see that at night. I think my biggest regret from my last trip was not being at Epcot at night at any point.
You missed out.
Yeah, I really wanted to do that. I was really disappointed that we didn't get to do that.
Okay, I'm looking at the video right now of the lighting. Wow. Okay.
Cool, right?
Yeah. And I can see where that's going to play into the show.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're going to definitely have that, like, I'm assuming everything's going to be synced up, right? Like
absolutely.
That's what I would guess. That everything's going to be synced together and you're going to be able to I don't know. That's what they've been doing, right? They've been trying to sync up all the lights to each other, which is cool. But I like how they made this, I like that they're going with like the I don't want to call it I guess the triangle theme.
It's the triangles
sphere.
from the geodesic sphere. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's an extension of the world or Spaceship Earth theming. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And based on what I'm seeing, you probably saw the same video I did where they are matching up the lights to what's happening on Spaceship Earth. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm very excited for when I will be able to get to check this out because first of all, I just love the parks at night in general, but like when they're doing this kind of stuff, it just makes it even cooler.
Yeah. 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 Nighttime lighting is really, you kind of assume it's going to be there, but when it's not, you notice, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
If they don't do a good job with it, you kind of notice that the area isn't as good as it could be at night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that whole area is opening even sooner. That one's opening in about a week here on June 10th. So you have that opening, and then we have Tiana opening on June 28th. And we've got some over the next week or two here. Like I mentioned, where they're starting to do previews for cast and for pass holders and DVC members and all that stuff. So that's all happening now. So if anybody goes on it, let us know. Which I'm sure we have some listeners that will be going on this during a preview. I think there's been a lot of talk about it, I think, in the Discord and also in the group too. All right.
Right on. All right, let's so this next piece you have on here, is this official, or is this, because I know the source is not always reliable.
It is official because it's from the Imagineering. It's from that Imagineering show that they're doing on YouTube. So so this is the set list for the redone Country Bear Jamboree. Yeah. Were you saying that as a bad thing or as a good thing?
No, I was just wanting to make sure that we're not going to get called out again for incorrect information.
Yeah.
If we're taking this from like a site that doesn't always post correct information.
That's a fair point. No, this is from the We Call It Engineering YouTube, Imagineering. I just said engineering. We Call It Imagineering YouTube series from WDI, and basically the list of the songs were revealed for the new Country Bears, which should be also opening this summer. I don't think they've announced an opening date for that, but it should be sometime this summer. But the set list includes A Whole New World. And all these are like, they're doing like country versions of these, right? So,
yeah,
which I'm interested to hear a country version of that, as well as a country version of Try Everything.
Try Everything's going to be an interesting one. I don't see how that translates to a country song.
I don't either, but I'm interested to see that. Yeah. I want to see how they make these songs a little bit different. And then, of course, they announced Bare Necessities. Of course, they have to sing Bare Necessities. Like, you're not going to...
That's such a low-hanging fruit, people.
Can you imagine if they didn't, though?
I mean, yeah, it would definitely be noticed because, it's such an obvious song for the Country Bear Jamboree. And then they also... so A Whole New World. Also, You Got a Friend in Me, which, I can see that.
I can see it too. Yeah. Depending.
Wait, so where are we now?
We're
talking about Country Bears.
Country Bear Jamboree.
Oh, too early. Okay. Like I'm getting pulled in like a million different directions. My son's new girlfriend's here, so trying to meet her. I didn't realize she'd show up today, and then trying to help my son out with his album. He's has to produce it now himself. It's turning into like just a bunch of questions for me, but. I mean, again, I have to remember you guys just take a long time on things.
We don't take a long time.
Well, because this is a show and we want to talk about stuff. It's not a 5-minute show.
Golden Button Detours, 30 minutes. Go
ahead. So anyway, what were we saying? I'm totally lost.
What are you talking about here?
We were talking about some of the different songs that they're redoing classic Disney songs in country style for Country Bear Jamboree, and we were trying to imagine what songs like "You Got a Friend in Me" or "Try Everything" are going to sound like.
Wait, did they have the list of the songs?
They've released a couple of them
Why is there "You've Got a Friend in Me"? That's terrible.
I mean, they're just trying to do songs that people recognize. So
that's an easy country song conversion.
I could hear country. Yeah.
The thing is, you got like a. No. Okay. I don't like that. I mean, I think that song should stay in Toy Story Land.
Okay. You don't like that it's going outside of that?
Yes, exactly.
But I mean, technically, it's not like they mention any like characters in that in that song. You're just saying it's so
just where it should stay, man.
Yeah, I get it. All right, I get it.
Come up with your own songs.
They're trying to do recognizable songs, so they
Bears come up with your own songs. Gosh.
I'm interested to hear A Whole New World as a country song. I don't know how that's going to be.
I don't even know what that is. What is that?
A Whole New World from Aladdin?
Oh, okay.
Really?
I mean, I guess that's better. But
I mean, how do you feel about Bare Necessities?
Well, obviously, that is just that one works.
You have to do that, right?
Yeah.
That's easy.
A Whole New World.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Also,
I mean, you got carpets there, so I guess maybe.
You got carpets. Actually, the flying carpets are pretty much right behind that theater. So
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, Trevor, what were you going to say?
Never mind. I was going to say, I wonder if they're going to bring back any of the previous songs.
That's what I'm saying. Why not?
Doesn't seem like it.
Because those were all covers too, Damon. It's not like they were original.
But what were they of? I don't even remember.
There's Davy Crockett. There was
Which fits.
Yeah.
I'm really just mad about this. You've got a friend in me. I'm like really.
That's the one that bothers you.
It really does.
All right.
Well, I'm okay with it. I think it's a good song to that a kid will recognize, and get them into Country Bears, because I think that's really the main reason why they're doing this. Besides it just needing a refresh, but if you're going to do classic Disney songs, it's a way to engage kids that with newer music that they'll recognize, right?
With parents forcibly dragging them into the area because they just want to sit down for 10 minutes.
Well, there's that.
Well, yeah. I mean, who's it really for? I mean, is Toy Story big with kids? Like, I can't imagine Toy Story is big with your daughter.
Yeah, my daughter loves
Toy Story big with kids.
Yeah, my daughter.
I mean, or is it more nostalgia at this point?
I mean,
it's so old. I feel like again, the first one, I didn't have any kids.
Well, when you watch that original one, the animation is rough, right? Like, it's when you look at it compared to, I don't know if anybody watched the new Moana trailer and looking at like the water, animation that they're doing and stuff. And then you compare that to the first Toy Story and it's like, man, we've come a long way, but
I feel like that's like, I don't know. I would think that Toy Story is more like nostalgic than new kids. Like, there's just so much more they could be watching.
Yeah. But
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, the same reason why you're offended by it is because it's a classic, right? So it's.
Yeah, true. I mean, I was just curious to know if, like I said, your daughter was into Toy Story or not. But again, it's a tough call because since you're such a Disney nerd, like it might just be that.
Could be.
Like you'd have to kind of go outside of that and ask if it's like, to not non-Disney people, but like less.
I mean,
intense Disney people. Is Toy Story still a thing? Or is that retired?
I guess the way I look at it is that I do occasionally go into toy stores because I have younger nieces that I go shopping for, and I still see Toy Story toys on the shelves.
Yeah.
If it wasn't that prevalent, you wouldn't see the toys in a toy store, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, for sure. I just wonder. I mean, Cars, same thing, right? I feel like.
Yeah, Cars is pretty old at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, the movie. I mean, they don't have to release new movies because you can put on. I don't know about your kids, but my kid got fixated on certain movies and would watch it like.
Was he watching Snow White now?
Yeah.
Huh?
Was he watching Snow White?
No, he was watching Cars too.
No, what I'm getting at now, then, right?
Yeah, but my daughter, one of the few movies she actually will let us watch is Toy Story. She likes Toy Story a lot.
And again, that's great, but I'm just wondering if that's the norm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's still pretty culturally relevant. Jeez. I think so, but I don't know. Like you said, we're in this Disney bubble, so I don't know outside of the Disney bubble what that is like.
I'm just curious. I mean, obviously the new movie's coming, so I mean.
Yeah. I'm excited for the new Moana, to be honest with you. I know you haven't seen it, but
I haven't seen. Like, I think it's gonna make me watch the other. I don't like The Rock though. Like, I just don't.
He's good in it though. I mean,
well, that's the thing. Like, I don't like The Rock, but I still thought Jumanji was good.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and you don't have to look at his face.
It's a good movie. It doesn't matter so much that he's in it.
Yeah. Out of the movies I've missed, in general for whatever reason, I think Moana's the one that I feel like, again, like I had to watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. I had to watch it. Like, I mean, how could I not watch it? Like, I'm into TV. It's like such a I feel like Moana's that one as well that like I just haven't seen. And I feel like I really got to like do something about that.
Well, wasn't it like the most streamed movie last year, even though this movie, I mean, it's not old, but it's been out for a while now. And I think it was the number one stream movie of any streaming service last year was Moana. Which is crazy.
I guess I'll have to watch it, or I'll just read the wiki. Who knows?
Just read the wiki. No, don't read the wiki. You got to watch it. I mean, I will say the new trailer. You don't see it as much as you used to, but like, it used to be the computer animated movies. You would just get like, iterations, it would get better and better. Now, like it's like smaller improvements that you don't notice as much. But I mean, just looking at the Moana trailer, like and seeing how they are animating water and some of the really hard stuff to animate,
it does make
incredible.
a big difference. Because again, you look at some of the Nickelodeon shows that are out now, like that I feel like are kind of just pushed through, like the new Fairly Odd Parents, and like I just can't get down with that animation. I think it's called like New Wish or something like that.
Okay.
Or like remember the terrible CGI Rugrats at one point?
Oh, yeah. We actually watched that, I think, because my daughter liked Rugrats.
Like
it's not good.
I would say that I'm happy with Moana too. I saw the trailer, so
it looks very cool. I don't know how we got about talking about Moana. So one other thing, and I know, Damon, you want to talk about the rumor, but we'll talk really quickly about this Alice in Wonderland show.
You guys talk quickly about something?
Yes.
I meant in Paris, so yeah, okay.
All right.
Paris. There's not much to say about it because we're not going to see it anytime soon.
No, exactly. But
the only thing I will highlight about this Alice in Wonderland show is that there is actually some audience engagement that can actually determine the outcome of the show, which is kind of interesting.
Oh, that's cool.
That is interesting because I mean, you have the audience engagement with Indiana Jones, but it doesn't change the show, right? Like it's pretty much the same show still. Like, but yeah, no, it is very interesting, and they have like BMX bikes, and they're doing like tricks.
It's only for a little bit though, right? Like it's not for a long time, right?
Yeah, it's only running. It says starting the May 25th and then through September 29th. So it's a fairly short running show. But they have BMX stunts, and then they also have like acrobats, and I mean it's a pretty huge space. I don't know, was this just empty space and they like made it into like a stadium or something? Like whatever. It's interesting because it's obviously outside.
Yeah, don't know. I mean it almost feels like that maybe their intent is this is going to be like a Cirque du Soleil type space in the future.
That's what that's what it reminded me of as well.
Yeah. I'm surprised they're still doing Alice in Wonderland things. Like, I mean, you want to talk about things?
There's Alice Bakery show. Doesn't your daughter watch that?
No, my daughter has no idea who Alice is. No idea.
There's a new bakery cartoon. So
Alice gets a lot more play in like Asia and Europe. So
really? Okay.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's kind of like Duffy.
It's like Duffy.
It's like you said, we would go like, okay, Alice in Wonderland's not really a thing here, but overseas, it's definitely a lot more prevalent.
I'm just surprised that your daughter doesn't watch that show.
I've never even heard of it.
Alice's Wonderland Bakery?
No, where is that? What
just on Disney?
Disney
is it on Disney Plus? Okay.
I mean, it's on regular Disney, but it is on Disney Plus as well. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Like, my daughter is more interested these days in like YouTube Kids and watching like those kinds of videos than
watching Peppa Pig videos.
Yeah, like yes. It's funny you say that, Damon, because we were gonna try to find yours the other day just to play it for my daughter to see what she thought, and I forgot. But I really
we just filmed last week. There's I'm a Chef 2 baking company.
Okay.
And again, like we get solicited to do a ton of things all the time. And normally they want us to do like there was a Barbie, baking thing or whatever. And then I was like, I wasn't really interested, but I went and saw that there's, they had the Peppa Pig one. So you make, muddy pies. So we made them last weekend and recorded it. I'm like editing it now, but yeah. So it's like we made Peppa Pig muddy pies. But
I just want to hear your Peppa Pig voice. That's all I care about.
It's terrible. But the thing is that like for that one, for the Muddy Pies one, obviously it's not like, not like we're playing Peppa Pig. We're just making these muddy pies. But then I got this, Tom, if your daughter's in the Peppa Pig, I got this huge Peppa Pig. I don't know. I was supposed to get something from Hasbro and they sent me the wrong thing. So like they sent me this huge Peppa Pig. Like it's tall. Like it looks this big.
Like a stuffed animal?
No, it's got like, it talks and it dances. It's got like 55 like unique dances and things. And so we brought that onto our making of these muddy pies.
Oh, wow.
But your daughter would probably love this thing. It's called Peppa Pig Interactive something. I don't know.
So I for Christmas bought my daughter a Furby because when I was a kid, I had a Furby.
I have them for review too. I got 4 of the mini ones.
Yeah. And my wife hates it. And for the longest time, we
Yeah.
couldn't figure out how to stop it from talking because it just would not stop talking.
Yep.
And so I finally Googled it, and it was like, oh, just put it on its back. It goes to sleep. And I was like, really? And then so I put it on its back, and it goes to sleep. But my daughter's obsessed with the Furby. Like, it's kind of funny that came back around again, that they reinvented the Furbies. And,
Absolutely.
it does.
I hate anything that talks like that, because it's always like 2:00 in the morning when its batteries are dying that you hear it, and then you think somebody's in the house.
We try to like scare my daughter with that stuff, but then like we have no follow through. Like, so we talk about it and we're like, dude, how funny it would be if like we brought Peppa Pig in her room at like 2 a.m. and then turned it on. Like, but then we have no follow through. So.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Furby can be a little bit annoying. She actually brought it to school the other day, and I'm like, oh boy, her kindergarten teacher's going to love this. But it's just interesting to see how all that stuff came back around, because even like Tamagotchis are a thing again, which is weird that's back. But anyway. So
we went down a weird rabbit hole.
We did.
We got to get this rumor in, man.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
So this rumor is actually from a while ago, right? So we just missed it, and I just happened upon it, and I was like, all right, let's talk about this. I don't think we talked about this, right? This happened while I was out. So
yeah.
So Big Thunder Mountain is expected to close for an extended refurbishment this year. The rumor is that it's going to be closed for more than a year, which would be the longest refurbishment that it's ever gone through. And they
got to make it a better kidney stone remover, right? They got to get all that math in there.
Well, I think it would be not as good of a kidney stone remover, because apparently they're going to replace the entire track, which you would assume would make it smoother, right?
No.
I think it's not the smoothness of it. I think it's the swirling of it, right?
It's
and
the
the
way
angle or something.
Yeah. Then that's probably true.
Centrifugal force, yeah.
So, the question is here though too, right? So they're saying the most extensive refurbishment was 10 years ago, and it was closed for 4 months. So now they're saying that it's going to be closed for a year. So if they're closing it for a year, they're going to be doing a lot of stuff, right? And they're talking about how Disneyland's Big Thunder went under a major renovation in 2012, where they replaced all the ride vehicles, they replaced the tracks, and they
the final scene. Give us the final scene.
This is the question, right? Are they going to add the final scene from Disneyland to this one?
I mean, you better. That's all there is to it. Is you better,
if you're going to close it for a year, you better.
It's good. Like the final scene in Disneyland is way better than Disney World's final lift hill.
Damon, I don't know if you've ever seen video of that, but it's pretty.
No,
it's basically. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but if you want to see it, go see it. But Trevor, go ahead. What were you going to say?
It's. I mean,
are you ruining how are you ruining it for somebody?
Well, I mean, it's
20 years old or something.
I mean, it's just if you want to ride the ride and have never been on it, you don't want to ruin the end of it. So,
I'm just going to Google it and ruin the end of it. So you have your choice. Either ruin it.
All right. Trevor can explain it then. Okay. If you don't want to have it ruined for
you, you come into the last lift hill, and they upped all of the TNT explosions. So there's fuses going off, and they're running up the hill with you. And then there's an explosion where they use a cloud of mist comes at you. So it's very well timed, and it feels a lot more alive than the current version that's in Disney World. Like Disney World is nice and all, but the first time I rode the Disneyland one after they redid the final scene, I was like, wow, that was really cool. Yeah. And me and my son both were like he wanted to go back on right away because he liked that, and even he said too, when we went to Disney World the first time, he was kind of like, that's it. Where's the rest of the ride? So yeah, it's long overdue for them to bring the Disney World one up to the same level as Disneyland. Also, here's some interesting thinking about this is that, they've been talking about or beyond Big Thunder as well.
Oh, okay.
Right? That, if they're going to be doing a big refurbishment on Big Thunder, wouldn't that make sense for them to also do whatever changes they need to do in the area for, whatever land is going to go behind Big Thunder?
That's an interesting point, Trevor. Like they maybe get started on that construction, however that's going to be. Because I mean, we've talked about this before. If they're going to do the Beyond Big Thunder thing, they don't have a lot of good options of getting people over there, right?
Yeah.
Like without closing the entire, river there. So, I mean, maybe they have a solution, and maybe that will be part of it. Maybe they'll close that down and start doing that kind of work. I don't know. It's an interesting question.
And that also does bring in the part about, if they're replacing the entire track for Big Thunder, it doesn't necessarily mean that the track is going to be 1-for-1 equivalent with the new track, right? Because if they're moving stuff,
so you're saying maybe they reroute it to give more room on the right-hand side there?
Potentially, yeah.
I hadn't thought of any of that, Trevor, but it kind of makes sense.
What do we want back there? What do we want back there?
Didn't we do that show already?
I don't remember.
We've talked at various points about what could go behind, like what would lead into a new land, because that's what they're talking about. Is it's going to be an entirely new land, and we all kind of go towards the obvious IPs, I guess, but a villain's land or stuff like that. But I guess the interesting thing is, like, we were thinking originally, like, something like Encanto would go back there, but we know that Encanto is going to be part of the Animal Kingdom,
South America's land.
Yeah, South America's land. So that's now crossed off. So yeah, there's a lot of room for potential on what they could do around Big Thunder right now. But
by the way, Trevor, when I was looking at rumors, just generally, a lot of the rumors out there are that the change of Dinosaur over to Indiana Jones is not going to be a copy of the West Coast version. Okay. That they're going to do something different, which I think is great. That's fine. I mean, but still, it just making it any Indiana Jones themed would still be better than Dinosaur. Like, it doesn't have to be 1-for-1. Yeah, David, you're like the one Dinosaur fan.
I love Dinosaur, and it fits. I mean,
but once you've ridden Indiana Jones, you'll realize why Dinosaur.
I'm sure Indiana Jones is a better ride, but I just feel like Dinosaur just fits.
It fits better in the park because there's actual animals.
That's just kind of how I feel about it. I mean, if you made it like something else, I don't know what it would be, but I don't know. I was always this, like, if you weren't going to throw in dragons and stuff from the jump from Animal Kingdom, you should have just like left that whole Avatar fantasy world out and just made it straight up just real animals.
I mean, I know that the concept, dragons. They just
that's what I'm saying. But the concept was, and I think that's where, like, I just don't know how far I feel comfortable with them stretching it. I guess.
Okay, hear me out. All right. Indiana Jones, the whole theme of it is him as an explorer and finding things that are mostly supernatural. But what if Indy found dinosaurs?
Ooh, like a combo ride?
Yeah.
He found it was like Land Before Time,
or like Journey
Land
to the
Lost.
Center of the Earth.
Land of Lost is what I was thinking. I'm sorry.
Oh, Land of the Lost with this. What were those things called? They started with an S, like Squigligs or what the heck were they? Sea squats or what?
I just oh man, I'm just trying to remember. Yeah,
but so cool. Indy doesn't mean that he doesn't have to. Like, I feel Indy actually has a lot more potential, even though it does delve into supernatural and whatnot. I feel they could make a better ride than what Dinosaur is, even if it's not a copy of the current Indiana Jones ride.
No, I mean, I think it's a positive that it won't be a copy, right? Like, I think it'll be good for them to make their own. I'm in favor of different things,
I feel like Avatar should have been in Hollywood Studios as well. And I feel like the Kali River ride should have been 3 times the size.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I think I love that sort of ride, but it's like if you take that ride and compare it to every other park, like I feel like in the US, like Disney has the worst one.
Which ride?
Kali River Rapids.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, even the Popeye one, like,
I mean,
is so much better.
Like Grizzly River Run in California, which is still Disney. It's the equivalent ride to Kali. It's way better.
Yeah.
Like
the only argument I have for Pandora being in Animal Kingdom is the Avatar movies are all about conservation, environment, but that's what Animal Kingdom is about. So, I mean, I see the link there. I don't think that they stretch it that far, but
There's
I think
robots
Hollywood
walking
Studios-
around, dude. There's robots walking around in Avatar Land. So
It's a fair point.
thanks.
Yeah.
No, listen, I'm not in total disagreement with you. And in fact, if you listen to Joe Rohde talk about it, he was not sold on it at first either. So, yeah. As we're talking here, I'm watching the full ride through of Tiana. Looks really great, man.
It's just not. I would have liked if they did something new, but for refresh, it is darn good.
Yeah, it really is. Like they really went all out on this. So, yeah, there's some cool stuff in here. There's some cool new effects too that they're using. So, anyway, all right, I think that's it, guys. I don't know if you have anything else you want to talk about, but I think that's it.
Nope. I think that's been plenty. I think we covered a lot of ground today.
Damon, you made it through a whole episode. I'm so proud
I was
of you.
actually thinking the exact same thing. I think it might have been like at least over a year since I've heard a wrap up.
Yeah, it's been a while.
You don't have to hang around for the wrap up.
Yeah,
Well, now I do, just on principle, but
just because we said it.
All right.
Oh man, there are a lot of animatronics in this Tiana ride. I like a lot of really good ones. Jeez. All right, sorry. Go.
Because there was a lot of bad ones before, but
Well, I know, but I mean, like they have like the really advanced, like a lot of them. It's kind of shocking how many animatronics are in this ride. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, yeah. Go watch that video if you guys want to know what Tom's talking about. But since we have to wrap up here,
Okay.
if you guys want to reach out to us, you can always find us at Welcome Home Podcast. Well, oh my gosh, I messed that up. You can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from you guys. We love getting your trip reports and listener questions and all that kind of stuff. But you can also find us on social media. You can find us on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast. You can find us on YouTube as Welcome Home Podcast. You can find us on Instagram as Welcome Home Picks. Make sure on Facebook, if you're wanting to join the cool Disney Facebook group, you go to Welcome Home Disney Waitlist. That is our group. We have all of our listeners are in there. People post memes in there. People post their own trip reports, questions, all that kind of stuff. So if you're wanting a good Facebook group to hang out in, please come check it out. And if you'd like to help support the show, you can go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com and you can check out our different merch there. If you need some shirts for your next trip or a fanny pack.
I was thinking there should be like an evolution of the podcast logo shirt.
Oh, that's kind of a cool idea, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can explore that. That might be something new we can put into the store. So,
yeah, I also think maybe once they start building Reflections again, maybe we do a limited run of the Haunted River Country shirts again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you guys want to see that, maybe, let us know if you want to see a rerun of Haunted River Country, and we'll see what we can do there. But
bring it out of the Welcome Home vault.
Yeah, the
Black Diamond version.
It's more of a storage chest at the end of the bed. It's not really a vault, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so go to our store, check out the merch that we got there. We also do have a Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod and you can check out our different levels of Patreon support there. Our Patreon supporters get access to an exclusive logo that is only available on Patreon. And they also get access to the Discord server, which is yet another place that we have great conversations and talk about upcoming things like the cruises. We talk about the current episodes, and again, just more, or another place that we love talking with our listeners. And we mentioned at the beginning of the show that we've got people who have left us wonderful reviews on iTunes, but if you are listening on iTunes or Spotify, do leave us a 5-star review. We do love seeing that because we want the number to go up, not down, and it also helps more people find the show. We do. We want. Tom wants that 4.7, and I know it's 4.6.
There's no way. It's never happening.
That 4.7.
We'd have to start the show over for a 4.7.
It'll be a Christmas miracle, Damon. Okay, just let us have it. All right. But yeah, no, seriously, please go leave us a rating on iTunes or Spotify. It does help more people find the show. And yeah, we love hearing from you guys and hearing your reviews about the show. And that's, I think, all I got for the.
Oh yeah,
rundown.
sorry, yeah. That's my part.
And now it's Tom's turn.
I'm very distracted by this Tiana video. It's very good.
Oh boy! Right.
So, don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube Music, just about any podcast app that's out there. You can find us. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions we express on the show are our own. So please consult with a Disney cast member or a DVC cast member for more information about anything we talked about today. Huge thank you to our sponsor, DVC Resale Market, for sponsoring this episode, and of course, World of DVC for continuing to support the show. Please check them out for any DVC needs that you might have. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit a chair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl, eating